All right, welcome to the math video today. Today's math video is going to be a little bit shorter. We're going to go over just kind of two problems, and you've seen a lot of problems like this, but I'm going to talk about them and how those multiplication problems are actually related to division problems. And then I'm going to show you one after this of how a division problem and multiplication problem are related and how a remainder is used. And so we're going to start with these problems here on the board. And when you look at these problems, you're going to think right away it's a multiplication problem, which is partially correct. You can read it and say it to yourself as something times 3 equals 24. And that is a correct way to say it. But another way to say it is 24, I'm going to take my product here, divided by 3 equals something. So I call this reverse multiplication. So like I'm taking it and I'm flipping it into a division problem. So something times 3 equals 24. So some number of groups, sorry, let me say that again. 3 groups of something equals 24. So if I'm dividing it, I've got to see how many are in those 3 groups. So if I were to draw this out, you could draw out 3 circles and then put the 24 in there until you got your answer. That's one way to do it. So when you see problems like this, you're like, oh, I don't even know how to think of it. You can think of reverse multiplication or this division problem like this. 24 divided by 3 equals something is the same as something times 3 equals 24. Or the way that Mr. B says it, you can have 3 groups of something will add up to 24, or 24 divided into 3 groups, and you have to figure out how many are in each group will get your answer. Both get your answer. So this is just another way when you do see these of how to rewrite it if you're better at division. Or if you see division problems, you can go, ooh, I'm not great at division, but I can reverse it into a multiplication problem and come up with the answer easier. So if you started off with 24 divided by 3 equals something, you could say, well, 3 times something equals 24. Let's do that example over here as well. So again, this is a multiplication problem. 7 times something equals 42. 7 groups of something equals 42. If I were to write it as a division problem, I would say 42 divided by 7 equals something. If I divide 42 into 7 groups, so I draw it. If I did 42 into 7 groups, how many would be in each group? Again, I have my 7 groups here, just like I'm saying 7 groups here, and this is how many would be in the groups. Here, we're trying to find out how many are in the groups. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So if you see a problem this way and you're not great at it, you can turn it into a division problem. And if you see a division problem, you can always reverse multiply it and turn it into a reverse multiplication problem. So 42 divided by 7 equals something is the same as saying 7 times something equals 42. So that's just one way to think and help you switch to go back and forth between these. And it just shows the relationship and how division and multiplication are really closely linked. Again, I know I went over that really fast, so you can watch the videos. And we'll try to go over it in a whole group as well. I want to do one last problem here. I have something divided by 5 equals 9 remainder 1. So now we have a division problem where we have the remainders. You guys are getting pretty good at finding the remainders, but now we have to figure out what our original problem is. So some of you guys it might pop in your head right away. You're like, oh, I can see what's close to it. So right now, let's just ignore this remainder part. We're going to come back to it. We're not going to ignore it forever. We're going to come back to it. Let's figure out this first part. Something divided by 5 equals 9. if I do my reverse multiplication thing, I can say that 5, I'm going to write it out here, and I'm going to write it just a little bit backwards. I'm going to switch my sign here, my equal sign, and then I turn it into a times sign here. 5 times 9 equals something. I'm ignoring that, I'm ignoring my remainder now. Ooh, you guys know 5 times 9, and that's 45. Now we need to figure out what to do with our remainder. So, remember I switched that way. So our remainder, now we were saying, ooh, we have 1 extra. So we had 5 groups of 9, and remainder just remains plus 1 extra. 1 extra. Now we need to figure out what to do with that 1 extra. Well, 45, or 5 times 9 equals 45, plus we have to add 1 more. So we're going to add our 1 more over to this side, 46. So 46 equals 5 times 9 plus the 1 extra, or the 1 remainder. So up here, if I'm looking at it, I would say 46 divided by 5 equals 9 remainder 1. This is a little bit trickier. We're going to go over a couple of these probably in our whole group. If you have any questions, come ready with those. Otherwise, make sure you get your pod done, and I will see you in whole group. Bye!